Okay, so thank you guys for having me. Like they said, I am from Lee County, which is basically Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Lehigh Acres, that area, all the way up to down to Naples.
Some of us are more familiar with Lee County, Georgia.
Oh, Lee County, Georgia, Lee County, Florida. Sorry. We're the 32nd largest school district in the country and the 9th largest in Florida. We have about 97,000 students overall, and we service, our nutrition services department services 84 schools. We don't feed the charter schools. They usually have contracts with other catering companies, but we do have 84 schools that we service, and we serve around 90,000 meals a day. This is breakfast, lunch, supper, and snack. So that's 4 different reimbursable programs that we provide at our schools. And all are reimbursable, so we generate revenue. Generally, when you look at a school district, your food service departments are your only self-revenue generators. The more meals we serve, the more reimbursement dollars we get that you have to then turn right around and put back into your program. So the higher the participation, the better. And our community is what's called CEP, which stands for Community Eligibility Provision, which means all of the students in Lee County get to eat free whatever meal they are offered. And once you're approved for CEP, it lasts for 4 years. So we just came off a 4-year cycle, and we just got approved for another 4 years. And this is very good for us because we get the highest reimbursement rate. So what I encourage our kitchen managers to do is, we have 84 schools. That's 84 restaurants out there in our county, because we live in a day and age where students can Uber Eats their lunch right up to the front door. Middle school and up, it's a new day in what we offer our kids to eat, and just offering them the same old things where, you know, I graduated high school in '91, and what we had back then and what they have now, 2 very different things. You have to look at your students as customers, and you have to offer them what they want, or they won't come. So if you look on the past, since I've been in school nutrition for 5 years, you can see what they want in the grocery store too. They like hot and spicy, and they like a lot more vegetarian options, which is where peanuts and peanut butter fits in great in that area. And peanut butter is timeless, so even at 50 years old, it's my #1 favorite sandwich. You could bring me a fancy sandwich platter of anything that they had out there, and I would want the peanut butter and jelly. So from 0 to 100, it's truly a timeless option. And it's, like Sherry said, very versatile, so it can be used at all our school meals. It's a good breakfast item, and here's one thing that happened with COVID. Pre-COVID, most of our students for breakfast came to the cafeteria, and we had a lot more hot options because we had warmers and we had hot wells and we had everything there in our cafeterias. When COVID hit, we had to rethink the way we were serving meals, especially breakfast. We then started meeting the students at the bus drop-off, the parent drop-off, with breakfast kiosks. And that kind of limited our menu to more cold items. And more cold items is more high sugar, high carb items, because you're taking out the eggs and the cheese and a lot of these things we were able to serve in the cafeteria. So a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or peanut butter and graham crackers fits at breakfast as a very good higher protein breakfast item that's also portable. They can grab it, take it to their class, and eat it. So breakfast, lunch, supper, snack, peanuts, peanut butter is important at all these meals. Now, I started my job in school food service in 2017. I came from the healthcare industry. I did not even know that there were laws and regulations overseeing school nutrition. I had no idea. So when I came in, I had so much to learn, and I was told, we're peanut-free kitchens. And I was like, cool, peanut-free kitchens. I was like, I have way more to learn. But that all changed when I took a field trip in 2019. And what I'm here to tell you about is how our district brought back peanuts to our school menus after 18 years of them being banned.
Wow.
So I'm going to read a letter that I wrote for a communication piece on this initiative to all the major stakeholders involved to try to communicate how this came about and why this came to be. So basically, our school district had been peanut-free since 2004. And I'm not exactly sure why they were removed from the district, but in 2004, the Food Allergen Labeling and Consumer Protection Act was passed, which required that all food labels must declare if any of their ingredients were a major allergen. Now, I remember back in 2004, I'm not allergic to peanuts. I don't know anyone close to me that is, but I remember all the news blurbs like peanut allergies and the peanuts are killing the kids that are allergic to peanuts and airlines are removing peanuts. So if that sticks in my head without even having a close person allergic to peanuts, imagine those ingrained misinformation, preconceptions like Sherry was talking about. So keep that in mind. Again, I'm not sure why we banned peanuts. That is just a guess. So in the fall of 2019, I was invited to visit a school in Orange County, Florida, which is Orlando. It was a very large high school, and we were going to visit a coffee bar because, again, we're losing students who are visiting Starbucks and Dunkin', and you got to give the students what they want, and high school students want coffee. So I went there to visit their coffee bar, and during their lunch period, I observed that peanut butter sandwiches were served. They had a huge courtyard, and they drove golf carts around that had Uncrustables, an orange, and a carton of milk. And there were complete lines for these golf carts. So it prompted discussions in Lee County as to whether we should bring peanut butter back as a menu option because we were missing customers. And it had not been that evident to me until I saw the lines for these Uncrustables. There were 8 major allergens. Why were we only banning one? Did this provide a false sense of security? We were peanut-free kitchens, but we were never peanut-free cafeterias. So students were always able to bring in peanut butter sandwiches, peanut butter whatever from home. However, after almost bragging for nearly 2 decades that we were peanut-free kitchens, we knew we were going to face some major obstacles. And at that time, I didn't feel like I had the ammunition to fight back, so the conversation was kind of temporarily shelved. Then COVID hit. Fast forward to school year 21-22, which is the one we just ended in June. School districts across the country were being affected by labor shortages, supply shortages, skyrocketing costs, and a stressed out workforce. School food service staff were being forced to get creative with the food that was available and affordable. And one commodity that checked both those boxes was peanut butter. Lee County had no choice but to seriously consider reintroducing peanut butter sandwiches and peanut butter in general as an item on our menus. So just to give you some perspective on how this affected our district in general. When school started last year, August and September were a literal nightmare in terms of we had 16 full kitchen staffs quarantined at one time. So we had skeleton crews made up of anyone who would just be willing to get in there and help serve the kids. So the beginning of the year was an absolute mess. We got through that. In December, our distributor stopped servicing us. Our distributor delivered to every single school at a delivery fee of $1.27 a case. Keep that in mind. They stopped servicing us in December. We had to get a new emergency distributor. Thank God we found one. But they could only deliver to one central location, not every school. So we had to rent a freezer space. We had to hire a trucking company. One of our most popular chicken products went up $40 a case. By the time we were able to get all the food delivered to a freezer storage space, repicked for the 84 schools, delivered by the trunking company, we're now paying $14 a case delivery fee, not $127. So that same case of chicken the year before has just gone up $54 a case to 84 different schools for 90,000 meals we serve a day. So that's just one item. That's the kind of things we were facing last year. But our distributor serviced Collier County, and we said we will follow their menus in a pinch because we know you have the stuff for those menus. Well, one thing on the menus was peanut butter. So you have skyrocketing costs, you have shortage of chicken, beef, pork, emails pouring in every day, and I said, here's a window of opportunity. If we want peanuts and peanut butter back, it's right now. So Food and Nutrition Services knew and understood that there would be resistance to this proposal, and fear from a variety of stakeholders, including administration, nurses, teachers, parents, students themselves. Remember, it had been 18 years since we had peanuts. Parents were very comfortable not having to worry about peanut allergies. Or so they thought. We did have peanut butter in the cafeteria. But it was because of this understanding that we wanted to take a collaborative approach to bringing peanuts back, and we need representation from all departments. We had to have everyone on board. One night I was sitting there and just had a light bulb moment. Sherry talked about the social media Facebook page that has over 25,000 school nutrition professionals. I just randomly made a post and said, if you've ever brought peanuts back to your district after a ban, please give me some tips on how you did it. And Sherry replied with some of the most amazing data, studies, information that I needed to take this forward confidently and already be able to answer the questions that I knew were going to come. The primary focus of our message was simple, and take into consideration the 8 major allergens and the very small percentage of children allergic to peanuts. The banning of one allergen might not be the most effective approach to allergy management, but rather a comprehensive allergy management plan that encompasses all allergens, includes accommodations available for all students with allergies, safety protocols and procedure, cleaning protocols and procedure, how to recognize a reaction, because they don't just happen in the cafeteria. It could happen on the playground, in a bus on the way home, and after school care. So we need to educate everyone on allergy management, not just ban peanuts and say, okay, it's safe now. We have 1% of our student body allergic to peanuts. 4.3% are allergic to other items. This collaboration proved successful in allowing all parties involved to provide feedback and engage in healthy dialogue as to how to best proceed with safely bringing peanuts back to our school kitchens. While still recognizing that peanuts are a common food allergen, our district has developed a plan, an official board-approved policy that addresses all major allergens to ensure that all students are protected, while remembering that the vast majority can't eat peanut butter. So basically, we went to the superintendent in November of 21, had our justification, our data already. He approved the initiative. And then we had a timeline from the approval in November to when peanut butter was served again. It was about 4 months. We did put together a collaborative team. It had academics, health services, bus drivers, custodians, parents, students, food service, anyone you could think of who could think of anything that we needed to address before we sent it out to the community. We got all that together. We then rolled the message out that peanuts were coming back via the media. We wanted parents to make sure they could update their children's allergy records if they hadn't done so. Then we filmed a whole training video with students, for students, by students, on what this would look like, peanut butter coming back into the cafeteria. We are starting with prepackaged peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, because right now we can say, okay, there'll be no cross-contamination in the kitchen. These are served on the line. We ordered stickers that say this product contains peanuts. We covered all our bases. We showed this training video to all classrooms the week before peanuts were then officially brought back. February 22nd, we had Uncrustables at all our schools. It was flawless. Everyone was so happy. Then there were no more Uncrustables to be found. They were all allocated to other districts, and I could not find peanut butter to save my life. I found that there was an Uncrustable competitor called Sandwiches by Classic Delight. So I called them up and said, I will buy 2 truckloads, however many pallets you can get me, please get me peanut butter sandwiches. And we just brought it back after 18 years. No peanut butter. So the rest of the school year kind of just fizzled out. We never mentioned it or really said anything. But I have been informed that Uncrustables, I think, is building a whole new line. They're back up and running to meet the demand. I think the demand was just so great. And just last week, we got a delivery from the USDA of 1,000 cases of peanut butter portions. I haven't seen them yet, so I'm not sure if it's cups or packets. but we did just receive that, so that is great news for us. And like Sherry said, peanuts and peanut butter are a great item to have in schools. Number one, they count as a meat alternative. And when it comes to school lunches, you have components. You have grains, meats, fruits, vegetables, milk. You have to provide all of these components. Peanut butter is a meat component. It's shelf stable. It's portable. It's a high participation item. Commodity dollars can be spent on peanut butter. So every year, our district alone gets around $4 million from the USDA to spend on commodities. I can put some of that money straight towards peanut butter. And it's truly versatile. Like I said, I want to start offering more peanut butter options at breakfast, lunch, as normal, and then supper and snack. And again, like Sherry mentioned, some of our food insecure kids may get a supper but not want to eat it right then or take it home, or it might be a Friday and something like peanut butter or peanut butter jelly will last them if they want to save it for later on. So a very, very, very important item in school food service. You just have to get ready for the public's ingrained fears about peanut allergies. But again, just by providing the justification and the data that banning peanuts doesn't help what we're going to do should a child have a reaction in schools, we need a plan. So we got to shift the focus more to the allergy management plan and not the banning of particular foods, because that's not real life and it's really not teaching these kids how to manage their allergies. So that is our story about how Lee County brought peanut butter back, and hopefully this year it'll be full-fledged on the menu. I want to offer it as an alternative every day at lunch, just as a cold option. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Amy, did you get any pushback from administration? And the second part of that is, did you have any real emotional reaction from parents of peanut allergic children that thought you were going to kill their kids?
Administration, yes, initially we got pushback. People were like, oh no, there's going to be peanut butter smeared all over the walls. What about the door handles? I'm like, I don't think you need to go observe a lunch period. But yeah, at first. Now, like I said, I will say this, our window of opportunity came with there being so many shortages of other things that allowed us to be like, if you want food, we need to expand our offering. That was a huge leverage piece for us. But when Sherry shared her data and I personally, because I knew the airborne myth was going to be the biggest. I poured through her studies. I read them all to get ready. The studies that airlines have done, putting the peanut, that there was no reactions. So I knew that I had the data I needed. But yes, after we did our media campaign, there are certain Facebook groups that kind of went crazy, and I kind of read some of them and got sucked in for a quick second. But I'm like, I can't do this. This is not the right way to handle this. But I would say there was more pushback from the parents via social media than, no one showed up at our board meeting about peanuts. No one came to our open community. We're going to do a Q&A. No one came to those from the public. So it was more the negativity on social media.
In the next slide, there were some pictures of some of the things that you guys did.
Yeah, we worked with a marketing company and put together a 7-page digital magazine called a Digizine, devoted to bringing peanuts back into our district. So it's a peanut allergy community education guide. The letter that I basically just read you. We did articles about school breakfast and managing allergies. We did an entire Q&A interview with our director. We did a podcast that's super interesting. It was with Sherry, myself, our nursing director, health services director. And then just some common myths and misconceptions about peanuts. So this was part of our marketing message that we rolled out to the community.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Have you had any or many anaphylactic reactions?
We have had none.
None.
Zero. And one thing I learned from Sherry, there is a, I forget the name of it, but you can get 2 free EpiPens per school. You just have to fill out some paperwork, and we did all that. So now we were able to get those EpiPens. You still have to have a parent sign that you can use the EpiPen on their child, but now we at least have them available at every school. Where before, the only way a school would have an EpiPen is if a child had their prescribed EpiPen there at school.